So I wanted to start documenting some more of like the client work that we do on the advisory side of my business. So I run a private equity firm with a couple of different holdings right now. And we're not anything huge right now. We're a little early on in the process. I've been doing the private equity side of things for under a year now, but we have a couple of company holdings, doing all right for ourselves and continuing to build, about to close on our next business. And what we do in order to kind of bring in new deal flow and businesses to invest in is that we advise businesses. So we advise businesses that are in growth mode, that are trying to scale. And we've been in our new client's office most of this past week. She is a granite countertop installation business. And what we're doing with her is essentially we are building two of the biggest systems that she did not have to help her get out of the day-to-day of the business. The great thing about her business and about her is that she is an incredible salesperson. And we see this all the time in business owners that have actually been successful for at least a few years. In her case, she's been in business for 3 years. Actually ended up taking this business over. It was a couple decade old business, but she really took it over without any website, any presence, any marketing, anything like that. And so she took this over, and the problem was she had no idea how much money she was making, how much profit, revenue, how much expenses she had. She also was dropping her contacts and her leads like flies just through the cracks all the time, because she's literally just managing everything through her phone, through text and calls. And so the problem is she didn't have any way to reliably know like what her conversion rates for leads were, how well her ads are converting and things like that. So the great thing is she gets all of her leads pretty much through both Google ads and sometimes Facebook ads, and actually gets them really reliably because she had someone do a really great job on her website. So the website looks fantastic. The Google ads are working really well. Gets at least like 20 to 30 leads per month through that, and then gets word of mouth and stuff like that. Even gets walk-ins into her building. She had a walk-in come in and that she sold while we were in the office with her. And so this is really great. But the problem is she's one person selling to all these people, and there's stages to this sales process, and it just doesn't happen all at once. And so we got in and started helping her with all of these inefficiencies in her business, because although she has done really great for herself, and I'll tell you how much money she's made here shortly over the last couple of years, she's done really great for herself, but she is burned out as hell. She's so burned out, and she just couldn't keep going at this pace forever. She is trying to settle down a little bit more in her personal life, maybe even move and be able to kind of like travel back and forth, run the business from afar. And so she's just not in a position to do that right now. So the biggest thing that we did at first initially, right, is she was tracking none of her finances. So we set her up a QuickBooks account and we reconciled all of her bank transactions. Now this was a lot to manage, because she was literally doing about 4,000 to 5,000 transactions a year, between all the sales, the expenses and everything. But we sat down, and over the course of the week, we reconciled everything from her 2023, 2024, and the first almost half of 2025 now. And so we ended up with this actual profit and loss report for 2023, 2024, and 2025 so far. And she's actually finally able to understand how much she made. And to her surprise, she ended up making about double what she thought she made. So she thought she made probably around $500,000 in revenue, didn't really know how much in profit. Turns out she made 1.2 million a year in profit each year, and is on track to do probably as well this year if she keeps going and still does well. And so this was a huge breakthrough for her, because she realized just how well she had been doing. But then when we looked at all the expenses, there was all kinds of expenses that she realized she didn't really need to have, and that she could have done better not having. Actually, there's a big improvement in that from 23 to 24, and continuing to get better as she runs the business better. So that was the big unlock for her as far as financial tracking. And now, you know, she's getting better and better at understanding how to do that on a week-to-week basis and keep up with that. The other system that we put in place is simply a customer relationship manager. So we got one for her Go High Level that's $97 a month, not very expensive, but it does everything. So we actually set it up so that whenever she has a Google lead come in through her website that submits a form or something, all of them either call her phone number or submit a form on her website. So we set it up so that they'll automatically get put into the customer relationship manager. She'll get a notification that they did it, and they'll get an immediate email. We're gonna set it up so they also get a text, and also so that there's tracking whenever someone calls. So she can actually start to keep track of how many leads are coming in every month. And then we built a pipeline. So the first place they land when they come into the CRM is this stage of like lead in. And then we mapped it out step by step through how her sales process actually works. So in her case, they come in initially, they need to get some kind of estimate. The estimate needs to be reviewed, it needs to be accepted, and then they need to be invoiced. Usually there's a deposit that she takes, maybe half down or so. They do all of the work, the fabrication, the installation, and then she collects the rest of the deposit. So we mapped out those stages along the pipeline, and then that way she can actually track where people are at. And if all of a sudden she realizes, oh, you know, I forgot to follow up with this person about getting the deposit that already accepted an estimate, that otherwise would have been a lost sale and lost revenue. So now the big thing is we've positioned the business to scale. The next step is going to be actually putting an admin in place. I wanted to just kind of document what we did in this first week of working with her, because so many small businesses are in this state of chaos where the owner's just doing everything and they're not really tracking how anything is going. And even if things might be going well, you eventually cap out at being able to do so much as an individual person. You also can't sustainably do that level of activity forever without seriously burning out and not being able to manage the rest of your personal life. And in her case, she's young, she's like about 30 years old now, but she's already kind of burning out. And she just realized she couldn't do this forever, and she wanted to be able to build the business to be able to run without her being so involved. And so hopefully if you run a business like this, maybe you're feeling like this, maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed sometimes. Maybe you feel like, you know, you're doing well, you're making money, you don't know how much money you're making, and you feel like there's all these leads that are coming in that you should be selling, that things are falling through the cracks because you don't have enough time to get to everything. Hopefully this can help you out and you realize some of the systems you need to put in place. And if you want help doing any of this for your business, just go to the link in the description below and you can book a call with our team to see how we might be able to help you do this in your business. And if you want to watch a video on my 20 favorite ways to get more leads for your business, if that's your problem, watch it right here.